So hello everybody, I am Vasundhara and I am from Team Learnox, and we are welcoming you to the much awaited webinar which is Industrial Perspective of Java Programming, which is live now. But first I would love to introduce you to our expert, Mr. Prem Sagar Sharma. He is a successful practitioner committed to helping individuals advance their technical skills across different sectors. He holds a master's degree in computer application and offers an in-depth understanding of all technical aspects related to programming, software development, including but not only limited to Java. He also holds a shared expertise in .NET, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and more. I would say that Prem sir has been a mentor to a lot of people who I've been connected with. He has a very strong hold network in the Java space, and not only personally but professionally in both ways. Prem sir is somebody who could mentor you really well and who could give you gist of what to achieve in the technical space at the moment. Not only talking about his own technical and vibrant skills, we would also like to tell you that he is pretty cool with acting, and he's also amazing in mimicry. So with this introduction, I would like Prem sir to please go ahead.
Thanks for amazing introduction, Vasundhara. Hi viewers.
Thank you so much, sir. Before we start with this webinar, we would like to know from you, why do you think Java is so popular in this technical space right now? What makes Java the next big thing?
Yes, Vasundhara. One of the essential reason for the Java popular cross platform compatibility and the securing in built already in the Java. And another issue, the Java programming can be run on any platform using install the JRE over there, and it is basically follow the built-in security, open source, manage the memories, robust APIs. All these are features to make the Java is popular, and the Java have the lot of scope to build the application real world applications like the Android application, web application, desktop application, software application, e-commerce, banking, big data. That means has a lot of scope. So Java is basically followed by the industry. Can be now come over the today topic.
Sure. So let us now start without further ado about the agenda for today's webinar. I would like to say that we feel that we are learning actual coding in college, but when you experience coding in corporate or in industry, it is particularly very different. Once you have a real life project with you, and when you need to analyze and make sure that you code the right things, there comes the right skills aspect. So the topic for today is coding in college versus coding in industry, and what are the shortcomings of learning coding in college? Do we learn a lot into the angle of theoretical, but what is actual demand in the industry, and what are the industry leaders say? With that, Prem sir, I would like you to please move ahead and address the audience.
Thank you, Vasundhara. Actually, the basic region which have the student not follow. The student had spent a lot of times in the college, 3 or 4 years to get the degree, MCA, BCA, BTech, and know every little things about the Java, but not able to can write the simplest program perfectly. So we will discuss today what is the difference versus the college coding and industry coding. So now I would like to share my screen. So thank you. Now the agenda is the reality of the coding skills of the graduating programmers, how to write the Java code, and what are the basic standards which have need to be utilized inside the Java programming, and how to achieve the abstraction and how we can transfer the data one method to another method. So in this we can learn about how we can make an object and how we can pass object into the method instead of the direct data. So, and last one we will discuss how we can write the secure code. The basically understanding of the college level coding स्टूडेंट हैव यूटिलाइज द गूगल स्टैक ओवरफ्लो, बट वो प्रोग्राम को बना देता है. But the team lead is expectation is required is something different. It is required the best practices over there, and no one say कि ये कोड किसने लिखा है, यानी कि that is not a this is the expectation कि the code will be followed the best practices and follow all the use cases which are required in the programming, but all these are missing in the college level coding. So behind of this, that means the college is not provide the exposure to the student for the programming and not. So, for example, if we ask to write a program in the Java, so student will write the program like this: class A public int add integer x and y return x plus y. But this is not the correct. According to the student which have followed inside the college, this code is the correct, but industry is not followed like this. The basic things are missing inside this code. बहुत छोटा code है, but in which also lot of things are missing. We have not followed the package, यानी कि package is missing inside this code. Naming convenience, यानी कि naming convenience is basically followed by the basic Java standards is required in the coding community, and method add should be the static. Behind of this, what is the reason? We will discuss in the next slide. This is the correct answer, and this is the correct program corresponding this the student level program. यानी कि we have write the class calculator, यानी कि for example जब मैं यहाँ पे कुछ mathematical operation कर रहा हूँ, तो that means कि we have followed some convention name, यानी कि calculator, and the number 1 and number 2 both are the used instead of the x and y. Why the static? If you have not used any instance variable inside this class, then basically you can follow the static, यानी कि static method is not a method of object, is the method of the class. So the repetition of this method can be avoided by using the static. So these are the basic standards. Class, interface, method, variable, and constant need to be followed by the every coder. The class name should be the noun and follow the Pascal case, and interface name should be the adjective, and it will be also the Pascal case, and method should be the verb and follow the camel case. Camel case means the if your method name become the two words, then first word will be start from the small character and the second word will be start from the capital character. In case of constant, the constant must be should be followed the upper cases, and you can use the underscore to merge the two words in case of the constant, and the variable is also follow the camel case, and the variable have some properties, naming convenience, naming rules, which have already have shown in this slide. The alphabets 0 to 9 digits and characters में underscore and dollar. Dollar is additional character which are followed by the Java in the variable. And now comes to the abstraction and encapsulation. Encapsulation is followed for the better control, for the security and flexibility. And I have also write down the another word, the getter and setter. In case of encapsulation, we are going to hide the data instead of the implementation. Encapsulation में हम लोग data को hide कर रहे होते हैं instead of the implementation. That means कि we are provide the security over the data, but if you want to access the secure data outsider of the class, then we have used the getter or setter. यानी कि getter setter both are provide the facility to access the private data member outsider of the class. Getter is used to access the private data member outside of the class, and the setter is used to set the private data member in the class. That means the encapsulation getter setter always used for the instance variable, instance members. That means we can also define the encapsulation in each class has the attributes, some attributes, and some methods, and all the data members and attributes must be the private, and the methods should be the public. So by which we can secure our data and access over there. So now comes to the next slide, and abstraction. Abstraction is the process in which we have going to hide the implementation instead of the data. Encapsulation में हम लोग data को hide कर रहे थे. Now in abstraction we are going to hide the implementation. So there are the two ways to achieve the abstraction. One is the abstract class, and second one is the interface. Abstract class follow the some important rules we have mentioned in the slides. Abstract is mandatory keyword to use to declare the abstract class. Abstract class cannot be instantiated directly. Abstract class must have at least one abstract method, and abstract class include the final method. Abstract class may also include the non-abstract method. That means the abstract class have the abstract and non-abstract both methods. Yani we can define the method inside the abstract class, or we can declare the method inside the abstract class. This is the facility. That means abstract class is not a fully, we cannot achieve the fully abstraction through the abstract class. So the interface through the interface we can achieve the 100% abstraction. There is no scope to write the definition of the method inside the interface. Inside the interface, all the methods by default abstract and public, and data members and attributes are the final. But in the Java 8, introduce the default and static two types of methods inside the interface. We can define the both default and static. For example, if we want to expand our interface without affecting the classes which have already implemented through this interface, so Java 8 for this purpose introduced the default and static. So default keyword inside, through the default keyword we have define the method inside the interface. In the Java 9, it also secure the private method in the interface for the security purpose. This is the example. For example, if we have an interface executable, inside this executable interface we have mentioned the four methods: add, sub, division, and multiplication, and all are by default abstract. We have not mentioned the abstract keyword before the method, but by default already all both for these are the abstract. And all this interface we have implement inside the calculator class. The class calculator implements the executable. So we have need to be override all the interface methods inside this subclass, and we have now create the object of the executable, yani ki interface. But this is the reference, but we have stored the object of the calculator, yani ki we can't create the instance of the interface, so we have create the instance of the calculator class and store into the executable interface reference variable, and we can call all these four methods through the cal object. So another interface is the marker interface. Actually, marker interface is nothing, an interface which don't have any method, that is called the marker interface. यानी कि marker interface के अंदर कोई method या कोई भी data member नहीं होता है, just empty interface. The question is कि why we have used the marker interface. तो marker interface को use करने का मतलब है कि we are providing the additional information to the object whenever we are going to the execute. Uh, so marker interface is also called the tagged interface. For example, we have separate, we have applied the constraint over the object कि ये object इसका interface का member है कि नहीं है, यानी कि instance है कि नहीं है. If the instance है तो execute हो, otherwise not. यानी कि we have create the another level of the security through the marker interface. For example, interface permissible to nothing. ये कुछ नहीं कर रहा है, but whenever we are going to implement a class test, create a class test and implement with the permissible interface. Here the permissible interface is the marker interface. Whenever we are going to create an object, यानी कि test obj new text, तो यानी कि obj now is the instance of the permissible or not. यदि permissible है तो we are going to the call, otherwise we are going to the not. तो यानी कि यहाँ पे मैंने एक ऑब्जेक्ट के साथ एक टैग लगा दिया कि ये ऑब्जेक्ट परमिसिबल इंटरफेस का इंस्टेंस है. यदि है तो वी कैन कॉल, अदरवाइज वी आर simply just write the message that you are not the permissible. That means the marker interface provides the additional level of the security. Now comes to the Java Bean. Java Bean actual में is the entity class that is the encapsulated many object into the single object that is called the bean. Bean has the attributes and properties. Attributes means the data members, just like the integer name, integer roll number, string name. All these are the attributes. And property means the methods. For example, show marks, calculate the grade. All these are the properties. So all the property in the Java must be the properties. All these are the must be the private with the public getter and setter methods. So in the example class employees, we have mentioned the private string employee name and public string get name. Here the string emp name is the attribute and properties. This is the private, and public string get name is the getter, and the set employee is the setter method, and both are used to access this data member. So the bean has the two things. One is the attributes and properties, and second one is the setter getter methods. You can also use the constructor to initialize these private data members inside the Java beans. So basically, we have used this bean to transfer the data from one method to another method instead of the direct values. For example, employee services, we have the show employee, string employee name, integer age, string mobile number. All these are the parameters we have passed. But instead of these three parameters, we may pass the only single parameter, the employee bean. But what is the bean? Bean is the employee type. In the employee class, we have already mentioned the name, age, and mobile number, and then we can pass this employee bean to the another method, and in the same another method we can access all the members, यानी कि properties and attributes of the employee class through the bean. So the example में मैंने यहाँ पे show किया है. The step 1 is to create the instance of the entity class and initialize the bean over there. And the last one is how we can write the secure code. So only try to use the tested libraries and avoid the serialization, allow the hash user password, and filter the sensitive information from the exception, and don't log the sensitive information and error handling and logged in. Prevent the injection attacks. Things need to be include in your Java code to make secure. So all these things will be covered in the next webinar in the details. Thank you. Any question?
Thank you so much, Prem sir, for enlightening us with such valuable information. We are now open for any of the Q&A. If anybody has any questions, please let us know. So in the meantime, when we are reporting questions, I was wondering about, we are hearing about Linux a lot. It's all over there. Just wanted to know that how can students like me, how can students like others, can learn from Linux and will be able to, fill the skill gap.
How is it possible? ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है? अब जो वहाँ सेल में परचेज करने वाले थे, उनको लगा कि how we can purchase, how we can identify कि which one of them is the 100 and which one of them is the 500. So वहाँ पे भीड़ हो गई. अब भीड़ होने पे एक व्यक्ति ने कहा कि ऐसा क्यों? यहाँ पे इतने लोग क्यों हैं? तो उन्होंने कहा कि यहाँ पे दो आइडोल हैं, बट उनमें से आपको आइडेंटिफाई करना है कौन सी 100 की है और कौन सी 500 की है. मेटल और बोथ आर हैव द सेम वेट. तो उन्होंने कहा तो ठीक है, फिर भी मैं बताता हूँ. उन्होंने सेम थ्रेड उन्होंने जब दूसरे के ईयर में किया तो वो उनके कान में मतलब थोड़ा टेढ़ापन था और वो उस धागे को अंदर डालते गए और वो उनके पेट में जाती रही. उन्होंने कहा कि ये 500 की है. दैट मीन्स कि दैट इज द डिफरेंस बाय द कारीगर यानी कि द ट्रेनर. सो स्टूडेंट हैव द sometimes have the same matlab skills, but these is sometimes the candidate has the skills but don't recognize them. यानी कि उसके पास skills है, हम उसे recognize नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, ये भी एक हो सकता है. तो उसके लिए the people don't have the right skills, ये भी हो सकता है for the available job. In such case, we have counseled the candidates and realize that you learn and minimize the skills gap. We assist in their upskilling and provide the practical exposure is also. So we also assist in their the live projects. It is mandatory. यही आपको डिफर करता है इंडस्ट्री और इंडस्ट्री कोडिंग एंड कॉलेज कोडिंग. एंड दैट बिल्ड द कैंडिडेट ऑफ द कॉन्फिडेंस ऑफ द कैंडिडेट. इससे जो कैंडिडेट का जो कॉन्फिडेंस है वो भी बिल्डअप हो रहा होता है. दैट मस्ट बी द रिक्वायर्ड. So Linux will be followed all these things. Another question.
Thank you so much, sir. I think you very rightly said on how we can actually capture. I think we all wonder a lot in college that what we are learning is how we are going to get the right placement. But trust me, that's not the case there. We really have to transform our skills. We need to become sellable as individuals. We need to make sure that our skill set speaks for ourselves. And I think Prem sir has really enlightened with his insights about industry perspective coding and Java programming. I guess we had a question from Abde about the placement process, where he said, Abde, I think my team has already shared you a link on the chat box, and we already have a link in this chat box. I would request you all of you to kindly fill this. Our team is going to contact you. We can talk more about your individual skills. We can help you to make sure that you can upskill yourself via any source possible. So Abde, Amar, Ritik, Sakshi, Shika, everybody who's joined us for the webinar today, we would request you all to kindly fill this form. It's just going to take a minute, and I'm pretty sure, and I can write it and send it to you, that it would really help to transform your skill set. So I believe, if anybody else have any questions, I think we can take a minute more, sir, from your end, just to answer them, or else then we can go ahead. All right, I think we are good. So I believe that this webinar possibly have made you clear that in real time, projects or experiences by solving real world problems gives us better learning. It's always what you do now which will reflect your placement, you being in the right company afterwards. So, there's always a difference between solving word problems in college and solving real life world problems once you're in a company. Not only this, Java is also one of the most, and being said by numbers, the third most popular programming language. And starting career in Java will not only help you to, get better pay, but will also help you in future when you look for opportunities to upskill. As Java is based on a lot of programming languages. So if we talk about CRMs, if we talk about Salesforce uses Apex, right? And Apex comes from Java. So all the programming languages mostly are baseline via Java. It's like the base which you need to center once you go ahead. So guys, being here in front of you and you all are giving me time. Thank you so much for taking out your valuable time being with us. I just want to ask you a question right away. We have Learnox, and Learnox is not only some place where we are just here to give you trainings. We are here to transform you. We make sure that once you come here, we understand you as individuals. We become friends. We understand you. We take your skill set, and we make sure that we provide you the right development opportunities. So Learners is like the best and the perfect course package where making you industry experts is a top priority. So you get opportunities to learn from industry experts, to solve real-time problem, to give you 24/7 mental support, to not only give you technical support but as well as soft skills training. And with this, we take the guarantee to assure you within 100% placement. Yes, guys, no other numbers, 100% placement. So I just want you all to please fill up the form which is there down in the chat box and write down your details, give it to us, and our expert team is going to, guide you through the whole process. And I think that's gonna be it. And we will mostly understand. We'll take up a call. We'll give you time, and we'll make sure that we understand you as individuals and help you in all ways possible. So, can I get a thumbs up of who all have filled this form, guys? If you can give me a minute, please. A thumbs up there, Amar. Everybody, please let us know if you have filled this form down below. It's just going to take a minute. That I see. Thank you so much, Ritik. That's great. I think we've got 2-3 more people who just joined this webinar. Guys, you've missed a lot of insights. We'll be sharing a detailed recording with all of you. Also, I would request you to kindly go and fill this form. We can have a one-on-one session. And I think once you feel good enough, we can have a session with Prem sir, and he can guide you through the process. He can help you to understand how Java can help you in your future. Thank you, Ritik. Thank you so much. We'll request the other attendees to kindly fill this form, please. Thank you so much, Shikha. Thank you so much. We request the other attendees as well to give us time. Are you guys still confused or what? I am telling you that Learnox is that one platform which will assure you that we are going to answer all your confusions and career related worries. And we'll make sure that you transform as individuals. So there's a holistic learning curve, guys, and I was trained here, and I am here to speak in front of you. So I want you all to please come and experience. Hi, Amar. I think you have a question. Please let us know. All right. If you just wanted to say hi, hello, Amar. Thank you so much for joining this webinar. I hope you're having a great time. You're most welcome. Anybody else? Anyone who have any questions, guys? Anybody? Any doubts? All right. Thank you so much, Shikha. I got a question from you. When is going to be our next webinar? Our next webinar is going to be on the 30th, and the classes will start soon. It depends on which course and which course curriculum you're going forward with. Our experts are going to contact you, and they are going to brief you when and where the classes will start. Shikha, but you need to fill the form for that. So make sure you quickly go and fill up the form, ask your question there, and we will let you know which course and which particular classes will be starting with. Thank you. Anybody else? Any questions? All right. And Shikha, I would like to give you some additional information as well. So we have some other panelists who have joined us physically, and they've asked a question here that, what is going to be our next webinar about? So as I've told you that we are talking a lot technical, and soft skills is something which comes with it. So yes, our next webinar is going to get you and is going to guide you on how you can get your next job via soft skills. So guys, even if you're not technically benefited, which Prem sir is going to solve your problem, our next webinar is going to help you on how you can drive soft skills and get yourself a new job. So our next webinar is going to concentrate more on business communication and is going to guide you through the way forward via soft skills. Any other questions? Anybody here with me? Any questions from you? All right, I can see good smiling faces over here. I'm sure Gaurav, Ritik, all of you here are also smiling on the backside. So we'll see you on the other side. We'll see you on the 30th. Ritik, you fill the form. I am telling my counselor and my team to contact you and let you know when your class is starting. Thank you so much for showing interest. Thank you everybody for joining this webinar. Thank you Prem sir for taking out your valuable time and guiding our audience. With this, if you have any questions, please reach out to Learnox. You can easily send us a message on Instagram or mail us or contact us via our website. We are available at all angles. And yes, thank you so much. We'll see you in the soft skills webinar, all of you. And I'm sure that you all will be much benefited with that as well. Thank you. Thank you so much.